All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Ramanujacharya and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch multiple development projects worth over 1,800 crore rupees in Varanasi today, to also inaugurate Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam on implementation of national education policy. Music maestro Ilayaraja, athlete P.T. Usha, screenwriter V. Vijayendra Prasad and philanthropist Virendra Hegde nominated to Rajya Sabha. Prime Minister congratulates them. Union Minister Smriti Irani given additional charge of Minority Affairs Ministry and Jyotiraditya Scindia, Steel Ministry. Home Minister Amit Shah to unveil statue of peace of Swami Ramanujacharya in Srinagar today. Gap between second shot of COVID vaccine and precautionary dose reduced to 6 months. Two-day G20 Foreign Ministers meeting begins today at Bali in Indonesia. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to represent India at the summit. In sports, in Women's Hockey World Cup, India to take on New Zealand in their final pool match in the Netherlands. In cricket, India needs to take on Sri Lanka in third and final ODI this morning. And Indian men's team to face England in first T20 International of 3-match series in Southampton tonight. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh today. Mr. Modi will inaugurate and lay foundation stone of multiple development projects worth over 1,800 crore rupees in Varanasi. These projects are focused on improving infrastructure in the city and enhancing ease of living for the common man. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam on the implementation of the national education policy. The 3-day event, beginning today, is being organized by the Union Education Ministry. It will provide a platform to eminent academicians, policymakers and academic leaders to deliberate and share their experiences and to discuss the roadmap for effective implementation of National Education Policy NEP 2020. Uttar Pradesh Governor Anandiben Patel, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan will also attend the conference. Mr. Modi will also inaugurate the Akshay Patra Midday Meal Kitchen at LT College in Varanasi. It has a capacity of cooking midday meals for around 1 lakh students. More details from our correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will reach Varanasi at around 1:30 p.m. At around 2 o'clock, he will inaugurate the Akshay Patra Midday Meal Kitchen. Thereafter, the Prime Minister will visit Rudraksh Convention Center, where he will inaugurate Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam. At around 4 p.m., the Prime Minister will reach Dr. Sampurnanand Sports Stadium to inaugurate projects. Some of the projects to be inaugurated include various initiatives under Smart City Mission, conversion of diesel and petrol engines of 500 boats into CNG, tourist facility and market complex at the Shashwamedh Ghat, construction of houses for EWS and other infrastructure projects. Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of phase 1 of redevelopment works of sports stadium at Sigra. Around 2,000 sports persons across the state will be present on the occasion. Aditya Shukla, AIR News, Varanasi.
Music maestro Ilayaraja, legendary athlete P.T. Usha, acclaimed screenwriter V. Vijayendra Prasad and philanthropist and spiritual leader Virendra Hegde have been nominated to the Rajya Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the newly nominated members. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said, V. Vijayendra Prasad is associated with the creative world for decades and his works showcase India's glorious culture and have made a mark globally. On the contribution of Virendra Hegde, the Prime Minister said, Mr. Hegde is at the forefront of outstanding community service and he will certainly enrich parliamentary proceedings. Lauding the creative genius of Ilayaraja, Mr. Modi said the popular music composer has enthralled people across generations and his works beautifully reflect many emotions. About P.T. Usha, the Prime Minister said the athlete is an inspiration for every Indian and her accomplishments in sports are widely known. He praised P.T. Usha, saying that her work to mentor budding athletes over the last several years is commendable.
Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani has been assigned the charge of the Ministry of Minority Affairs in addition to her existing portfolio. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia has been given the additional charge of the Ministry of Steel. The developments came after the President accepted the resignations of Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and Steel Minister Ramchandra Prasad Singh from the Union Council of Ministers. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal reviewed the progress of PM Gati Shakti at a meeting in New Delhi. The meeting reviewed the status of the National Master Plan since its launch on 13th October last year and discussed plans for faster integration of data into the portal. With over 900 data layers updated by the central ministries and 316 essential layers by states and union territories, the meeting took note of various ministries and departments using the same to share their proposed projects after having been mapped and aligned digitally. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Piyush Goyal said that under the PM Gati Shakti's transformative approach, the government is committed to resolve user issues by overcoming various departmental silos.
Home Minister Amit Shah will unveil the statue of peace of Swami Ramanujacharya at Srinagar in Jammu, Kashmir today. The unveiling will be done via video conferencing at 11 a.m. Ramanujacharya is revered as a Vedic philosopher and social reformer. He travelled across India, advocating equality and social justice. Ramanujacharya revived the Bhakti movement, and his preachings inspired other Bhakti schools of thought. He is considered to be the inspiration for poets like Annamacharya, Bhakt Ramdas, Tyagraj, Kabir and Mirabai. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 198 crore 31 lakh mark. More than 10 lakh vaccine doses were administered yesterday. The Union Health Ministry said that more than 6 crore 16 lakh vaccine doses have been administered to the children in the age group of 12 to 14 years so far. Over 4 crore 79 lakh precautionary doses have been administered to the identified categories of beneficiaries, including healthcare workers, frontline workers, and people above 18 years of age.
COVID precautionary dose to the eligible beneficiaries will now be administered after completion of 6 months from the date of administration of the second dose. National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization (NTAGI) has recommended to revise the duration from existing 9 months to 6 months. Health and Family Welfare Ministry's Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written a letter to all states and union territories in this regard. The Health Ministry said corresponding changes have been made in the CoWIN system to facilitate the new dispensation. It asks the states and union territories to extend the benefit of precaution dose to all beneficiaries, including people aged above 18 years, healthcare and frontline workers during Har Ghar Dastak 2.0 campaign. In Tamil Nadu, many of the corporates and small and medium enterprises have agreed to bear the expenses of administering precautionary doses of COVID vaccines for their staff. As the coverage of the precautionary doses among the working age group is minimal, the state departments of health, industries and small and medium enterprises jointly organized a consultation meeting with the representatives of the industry, hospitality and trade in Chennai yesterday. The ministers of the departments asked the participant industrialists, hoteliers and traders to sponsor the cost of the vaccines for their staff. Talking to reporters, State Health Minister Ma Subramanian said the participants have agreed to pay for the precautionary doses of the COVID vaccines for their staff. He, however, asked all the frontline workers, healthcare providers and the senior citizens to visit the government hospitals to get vaccinated with the precautionary doses free of cost. In Tamil Nadu, 94.61% of the eligible population have received at least one dose of the vaccine, while 85.39% took both the doses. Meanwhile, the state government has organized a mega COVID vaccination camp on the 10th of this month at 1 lakh locations.
National Investigation Agency (NIA) has conducted searches at multiple locations in Maharashtra in connection with the killing of pharmacist Umesh Kolhe in Amravati. During the searches conducted at the premises of the accused and suspects, the NIA seized digital devices like mobile phones, SIM cards, memory cards and DVRs, besides pamphlets spreading hate messages, knives and other incriminating documents and materials. Kolhe was killed on the 21st of last month after he posted some message on social media in support of former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma. In Karnataka, incessant and heavy rains continued in several parts of the state. Red alert has been issued in Dakshin Kannada, Uttar Kannada and Udupi districts. In Kodagu, the district administration has announced holiday today for colleges, schools and Anganwadis. Our correspondent has more on this.
Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai yesterday held discussions with the Deputy Commissioners of rain-affected districts. Speaking to media in Bengaluru, he said that the rescue works are on and he have directed officials to take up relief works immediately. He further said that because of heavy and in-season rain, houses and properties are damaged in coastal and Kodagu districts. He said NDRF and SDRF teams should be deployed immediately to take relief measures. Meanwhile, due to heavy rain in the catchment area of KRS reservoir, the water level is rising to full storage level and there is likelihood of releasing surplus water at any moment. R. Murthy, AR News, Bengaluru.
Intermittent heavy rains continue to pound many parts of Kerala, especially the northern and the central parts of the state. In Kozhikode, damages to crops and property were reported in 16 villages in the district. 20 houses were partially damaged. An orange alert has been issued in the Kakkayam reservoir as the water level there rose to 756.5 meters. In Kasargod, the Tejaswini and Karyamkod rivers are in spate. The Madhur temple was fully submerged. In the Moshangari area, 50 persons belonging to 7 families were shifted to safety as their houses were submerged. In Kannur, the district administration has declared a holiday today for all educational institutions except colleges. The district administration in Idukki has banned night travel in the hilly areas of the district from today. Road traffic on the old Munnar-Devikulam road has been restricted in view of the possibility of landslides. A holiday has been declared for all education institutions, including colleges. Meanwhile, the Met Department has issued a yellow alert in all the districts in the state today except Thiruvananthapuram, Kollam and Pathanamthitta. It said strong winds with speed reaching 45 to 55 kilometers per hour and gusting to 65 kilometers per hour are likely to prevail along and off the Kerala coast and Lakshadweep. Fishermen have been advised not to venture into the sea.
Public sector Cochin shipyard has delivered a passenger-cum-cargo vessel built by it to the Andaman and Nicobar administration. The vessel christened Nalanda has a capacity to carry 500 passengers and 150 metric tons of cargo. The ship will operate mainly between the islands in Andaman and Nicobar, but can also sail to the mainland if needed. The protocol signing and handing over ceremony of Nalanda was held on board the vessel at the Cochin shipyard. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch multiple development projects worth over 1,800 crore rupees in Varanasi today. To also inaugurate Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam on implementation of national education policy. Music maestro Ilayaraja, athlete P.T. Usha, screenwriter V. Vijayendra Prasad and philanthropist Virendra Hegde nominated to Rajya Sabha. Prime Minister congratulates them. Union Minister Smriti Irani given additional charge of Minority Affairs Ministry and Jyotiraditya Scindia Steel Ministry. Home Minister Amit Shah to unveil the statue of peace of Swami Ramanujacharya in Srinagar today. Gap between second shot of COVID vaccine and precautionary dose reduced to 6 months. Two-day G20 Foreign Ministers meeting begins today at Bali in Indonesia. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to represent India at the summit. In Women's Hockey World Cup, India to take on New Zealand in their final pool match in Netherlands. In cricket, Indian E's to take on Sri Lanka in third and final ODI this morning. An Indian men's team to face England in first T20 international of 3-match series in Southampton tonight. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back to the morning news. A two-day meeting of foreign ministers of G20 countries will begin today at Bali in Indonesia. With the theme of building a more peaceful, stable and prosperous world together, this meeting will serve as a strategic forum to discuss global recovery efforts. The meeting will have two sessions. The first session on strengthening multilateralism will discuss joint steps to strengthen global collaboration and build mutual trust among countries, which will become an enabling environment for world stability, peace and development. The second session on food and energy security will discuss strategic steps to overcome the food crisis, fertilizer shortage and rising global commodity prices. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will represent India at the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting. During his visit to Indonesia, Dr. Jaishankar will also hold several bilateral meetings with his counterparts from other G20 member states and invited countries. The 5-day annual Hajj pilgrimage commences today in Saudi Arabia. More than 79,000 pilgrims from India are participating in this year's pilgrimage. The pilgrims will begin their journey from the holy city of Mecca to assemble in Mina. They will spend the night there and move towards the plains of Arafat at dawn tomorrow for the day's main ritual of Hajj, reciting prayers. Only those below 65 years of age and fully vaccinated against COVID-19 were allowed this year.
World Kiswahili Language Day is being celebrated today. The day is celebrated on the 7th of July every year following a declaration by UNESCO member states in this regard. Kiswahili is one of the most widely spoken languages in Africa and the most widely spoken in sub-Saharan Africa. Kiswahili is also the only African language which is official of the African Union. In an exclusive interview to AIR News, High Commissioner of the United Republic of Tanzania to India, Anisa Kapufi Mebega, said that Kiswahili language needs to be nurtured as it reflects African heritage.
Swahili language is a reflection of our African heritage and therefore we need to nurture it. Africa needs peace and tolerance for its sustainable development, and therefore through Kiswahili we can be able to unite and focus on our vision for the development of our continent and also for the friendly countries of Africa such as India. And with these few words, I just wish them good day in the celebration of Kiswahili Day, and we hope that more and more people will learn Swahili because Swahili one day might take the place of English.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a
is the birth anniversary of Muhammad Barkatullah, who was born in 1854 in Bhopal. After receiving education in Bhopal, he moved to London for higher education. After the completion of his studies, he lived in Liverpool, England, and worked as a journalist and published articles relating to revolutionary activities and Indian political affairs. During his stay in London, he befriended leading revolutionaries such as Lala Hardayal, Shyamji Krishnavarma, Nasrullah Khan and Raja Mahendra Pratap.
In 1907, he met Madam Bhikaji Kama in the USA. All the while he continued contributing articles on Indian politics and Muslim Hindu Brotherhood in journals and newspapers of New York City. In February 1909, he shifted his base to Tokyo, Japan, and started a journal titled Islamic Fraternity in 1910, and also taught as professor of Hindustani at the University of Tokyo. From Tokyo, he visited Cairo, Constantinople, and Moscow, and met Shyamji Krishnavarma and other revolutionaries at these places in 1911.
Meanwhile, his anti-British exhortations in the press were so popular and influential that the British government not only banned his write-ups in India, but also pressurized the Japanese authorities to take a hostile view of him. This resulted in the banning of his journal and cancellation of his professorship in 1914. Later, he shifted from Japan to San Francisco, USA, with the hope of furthering the cause of the Ghadar Party, in whose establishment in 1913 he played a pivotal role.
During World War I, he went to Germany and formed the Indian Independence Committee at Berlin in collaboration with Champakaraman Pillai, Lala Hardyal and others. Muhammad Barkatullah moved to Istanbul and established diplomatic relations with the government there. In 1915, he went to Kabul as a member of the Indo-German mission and founded the first provisional government of India in exile in Kabul on the 1st of December 1915 as its prime minister. The local authorities, however, forced it to close down under pressure from the British. Thus he went back to Germany to resume his journalism.
During 1921, he also attended a 3-day meeting of Indian revolutionaries in Moscow. Barkatullah, along with Shailendranath Ghosh, went to Detroit, USA to attend the United India League's conference in June 1927. He returned back to Europe to attend the Brussels conference in 1927 and met Jawaharlal Nehru. Returning to the USA, he died in exile in September 1927 at San Francisco and was buried in Sacramento City Cemetery, California. AIR News salutes the great nationalist.
We also remember Ram Singh, who was a resident of Savai Madhopur in Rajasthan. He was a sepoy in the Punjab regiment of the British Indian Army. He fought in World War II in Malaya and Singapore, but became a prisoner of war in the Japanese hands in 1942. He joined the newly established Indian National Army as a sepoy in its 3rd Guerrilla Regiment. While confronting the British-led Allied forces in Myanmar, he lost his life on the 7th of July 1944. We salute the brave son of the soil.
The 7th of July is also the death anniversary of Naginder Singh. Naginder Singh was born in Ludhiana, Punjab. He was a sepoy in the 8th Punjab Regiment of the British Indian Army. In 1942, he joined the Indian National Army and served as a Havaldar. He was deputed to confront the British in Burma, where he was captured by the enemy and hanged on the 7th of July, 1943. We salute this brave son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In some more news, Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry will organize Haryali Mahotsav tomorrow in New Delhi as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Plantation drives are being organized with active participation of 75 Nagar vans, 75 police stations and 75 schools in Delhi and NCR, and 75 degraded plantation sites in different states as part of this Mahotsav. Haryali Mahotsav is being organized to create awareness about the importance of trees for sustainable development. On to sports. In the FIH Women's Hockey World Cup, India will take on New Zealand in their final Pool B match in Amstelveen at the Netherlands today. The match will be played at 11 p.m. It will be a must-win contest for the Indian team to make it to the quarterfinals. India's first 2 matches ended in a 1-1 draw against England and China.
In cricket, a confident India will take on Sri Lanka in the 3rd and final Women's ODI in Palakkil today. The match will start at 10 a.m. Indian time. The Indian team won the opening 2 games in contrasting fashion to take an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. The visitors had bagged the preceding T20 International Series 2-1. The Indian men's team will take on England in the first T20 international of the three-match series at the Ageas Bowl Stadium in Southampton today. The match will start at 10:30 p.m. India time. A new era will begin in England's T20 international history today, with Josh Buttler taking over as a full-time captain. It is also Rohit Sharma's first away series as India's full-time skipper.
In badminton, top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, HS Pranoy, B Sai Praneeth and Parupalli Kashyap advanced to the second round of Malaysia Masters in Kuala Lumpur yesterday. In women's singles, two-time Olympic medalist Sindhu registered 21-13, 17-21, 21-15 win over China's He Bingjiao in the opening round. However, her compatriot and former world number one Saina Nehwal made a first-round exit after losing to South Korea's Kim Ga-yeon. In the men's singles, Pranoy defeated France's Brice Levertez, while Praneeth registered an easy win over Kevin Courtin of Guatemala, and former Commonwealth Games champion Kashyap defeated Indonesia's Tommy Sugiarto to sail into the next round. However, it was the end of the road for world number 30 Samir Verma after going down to fourth seed Chinese Taipei shuttler Xiao Tianchen. In the women's doubles, Ashwini Ponnappa and NCQ Reddy lost to Indonesia's Febriana Kusuma and Amalia Kahaya Prativi.
In tennis, second seed Rafael Nadal and former champion Simona Halep have sailed into the semi-finals of Wimbledon. In men's singles, 22-time Grand Slam champion Nadal overcame Taylor Fritz of US in the quarterfinals last evening. The Spaniard will face Australian Nick Kyrgios in the last four tomorrow. Unseeded Kyrgios reached the first Grand Slam semi-final of his career with a comfortable victory over Christian Garin of Chile. Top seed Novak Djokovic will be up against Britain's Cameron Norrie in the other semi-final tomorrow. In women's singles, Romanian Halep defeated American Amanda Anisimova to reach the semi-finals. 16 seed Halep will take on 17 seed Elena Rybakina in the last four today. Kazakhstan Rybakina overpowered Australian Agila Tomali-Jovanovic in the quarterfinals. In the other semi-finals today, third seed Ons Jabeur of Tunisia will meet German Tatiana Maria today. In the mixed double semi-finals, Sania Mirza and her Croatian partner Mejpovic lost to second seed British-US pair of Niels Skupski and Desiree Krawczyk.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunder showers, while Leh and Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Visakhapatnam, Hyderabad and Thiruvananthapuram will have a generally cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunder showers. Imphal and Agartala will have a generally cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunder showers, and Shillong and Itanagar will have a partly cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. There are variegated stories across dailies today. Political churnings in the United Kingdom hogs the headlines today in almost all newspapers. Hindustan Times says, cornered Boris on the brink as cabinet loses trust in PM. Business Standard writes at least 32 lawmakers quit Johnson government in 24 hours. While the Pioneer says Boris Johnson vows to keep going amid flurry of investigations. All dailies have covered DGCA's notice to SpiceJet. The Indian Express headline, DGCA issued notice to SpiceJet, poor safety oversight. Record 7.5 lakh apply for Indian Air Force Agnipath, reports the Pioneer, adding Navy to earmark 20% posts for women Agniveers. Financial Express writes, government cuts gap between second precaution jabs. P.T. Usha, Ilayaraja and Bahubali, writer nominated to Rajya Sabha, headlines at Times of India. And finally, shopaholics, attention please. Delhi will hold first of its kind marquee festival for a month. The Statesman writes, Delhi to host big shopping festival from 28th of Jan to 26th of February.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi to launch multiple development projects worth over 1,800 crore rupees in Varanasi today to also inaugurate Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam on implementation of NEP 2020. Music maestro Ilayaraja, athlete P.T. Usha, screenwriter V. Vijendra Prasad and Virendra Hegde nominated to Rajya Sabha. Union Minister Smriti Irani given additional charge of Minority Affairs Ministry and Jyotiraditya Scindia Steel Ministry. Home Minister Amit Shah to unveil statue of peace of Swami Ramanujacharya in Srinagar today. Gap between second shot of COVID vaccine and precautionary dose reduced to 6 months. Two-day G20 foreign ministers meeting begins today at Bali. In Women's Hockey World Cup, India to take on New Zealand in their final pool match in the Netherlands. In cricket, Indian Eves to take on Sri Lanka in third and final ODI this morning, and Indian men's team to face England in first T20 international of 3-match series in Southampton tonight. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.